Hello and welcome to another exciting episode of Diplomatic License right here on City TV. My name is Apioko. Now I'm at the Accra City Hotel. I'm here with Madam Gillian Hammah. She's the Group Chief Marketing Officer for the Databank Group. And I mean so many things about her. She's Jamaican, born and bred, moved to Canada, started her career there, came back to Ghana, married to a Ghanaian. But look, so much to learn about her, and it's the first time we have a Jamaican diva on the show. So very excited. I know a lot of you love Jamaica. You probably heard a lot of things. You listen to reggae music, the likes of Bob Marley and Peter Tosh and all of them. Yeah, shout out to Skelly and Bernard Avila, all the reggae gurus in the city. But hey, Gillian Hammah is my guest, and we're starting out this morning at the Accra City Hotel with a game of tennis. And now, I know I said this morning, but it just had to be in the morning. And so I've pre-recorded this, and then when we come back, you'll see action happening in real time. My name is Apioko. Welcome to Diplomatic License. How was I? Abysmal?
No. There's above abysmal, but don't worry, it's fine. I'm telling you, come and play sometime.
I'll come.
You should. And Clement is great. He'll teach you. He's been teaching me.
Also, Clement is your teacher.
Yes.
Hi, Clement.
So, definitely. But yes, it was fun.
It was.
You should do this more often.
Yeah, I know. But so how many times a week do you do this?
Twice a week, at least. Early, 5:45.
Is there a reason why you prefer to do it early?
Because
apart from work.
Well, you know what? In the early morning, it's quiet. It's so peaceful. Air is cool. Everything is good. And I always find people start coming out later. And the sun, you'll see now it's where the sun is coming up. It's after 7, and sometimes the sun gets really bright. So I'm an early morning person. Everything I do is early.
It's early.
So it's good. And we come, I play for an hour. I'm good. I'm settled. I'm ready to face the day. And yeah, I love it.
Is there a
But
reason
I've always
why?
loved tennis.
Well, I can see that. But is there a reason why you choose to play at Accra City Hotel? Because it's smack in the middle of the city. Is there a reason?
Yes, because it has one of the best courts.
It is a very beautiful court.
So it's not your normal court. So it's really actually easy on the knees, because the hard courts, when you stop like this, it will damage your knees. And then the clay courts, they're good on the knees, but then it's dirty. When you're done, the whole of your skin, everything is brown. So this is like your perfect, like grass court, simulated grass court.
That's really interesting.
So it's not bad.
There's even a bit of sanding.
Yeah, so it helps with the movements and everything.
Oh, so it's intentional.
It is.
Wow.
And so this is your perfect tennis court. So I love it.
How did you get into tennis?
When I was in Jamaica, actually, I started playing just very casually.
So you're how old then?
Oh, I was in my teens because I left Jamaica at 17. So I was in my teens. Then I went to, a few years later, I picked it up again in Canada, but it was very expensive. So there you play, and you're playing in a class of like 10 people, and you're paying $400 a month for tennis with a group of 10. And here I'm paying, like you pay 40, 50 CDs for 1 hour non-stop playing. So I mean, you can't compare. And I love it. For me, I just love tennis because when you're playing, you don't think. You don't have time to worry. You don't have to, it's just mental peace is everything. So this is like my happy place.
But why tennis and not another sport? I'm curious.
Okay. I've never really liked football. I used to play field hockey. I used to love netball. But you guys don't play netball in
Not
Ghana.
really.
Not very much.
Occasionally
So,
you come across it,
yeah,
but not really.
I used to play hockey. I used to play football. I've played all the sports actually. But somehow tennis is what it's just, that's the one I've loved. Squash is what I'm yet to play. I think I'd like to play squash at some point. But
you were mentioning earlier that badminton is said to be the fastest racket sport.
Yes, that's what I've been told.
Does it have anything to do with the shuttlecock? Because it's really small,
it's
light, and
yes,
it's fast.
and it flies. So I don't know why, but tennis actually, I think you spend more time, they've said you spend more time walking in tennis than actually playing.
Yeah, I've actually
Because if you think
out.
about all the times you have to stop, pick up the ball, everything, you spend a lot of time playing. But it's nice and it recharges you. It really recharges you. And if you have somebody good to play with, then you're good. So,
if you just joined us, I've been speaking to Gillian Hammah. She's the Group Chief Marketing Officer of the Databank Group. And we've been playing tennis here at the Accra City Hotel. And I did say earlier that we came here really early. So by the time we come back, it will be much later in the day. So just going to freshen up and then see what's cooking in Jamaican household, maybe?
yeah, Jamaican household.
My name is Apioko. We'll be right back. Welcome back. You're still watching Diplomatic License right here on City TV. My name is Apioko, and in case you just joined us, I've come home with my guest. She's invited us into her very lovely home, Madam Gillian Hammah. She is the Group Chief Marketing Officer of the Databank Group, and we're about to meet. I mean, we started off the day with a brilliant game of tennis. I wasn't so great, but it's okay. Don't laugh at me. I'm fine. I'm fine, you know. I own it. I'm not that I suck at tennis. It's okay. But Gillian has invited me to play some more. So we play tennis at the Accra City Hotel, and now we're going to make Jamaica's national dish, ackee and saltfish. And I can't wait to see how it's made. And I'll tell you some secrets as we go along. The connections between ackee and Ghana, you'd be very surprised. Hi, Gillian.
Hi.
Thank
How
you.
are you? I know it's COVID, but I'm fully vaccinated.
I know, so am
it's
I.
fine.
So am I. Thank you. Thank
But
you
welcome,
for bringing us
welcome.
home. Thank you.
Yes.
You know, it's hard to find. I know there must be a Jamaican community in Ghana, but we don't see much of you. So
We don't see much of ourselves. It's fine. It's okay. We don't see much of
So
ourselves.
I'm really
either.
excited,
Yes,
really excited to have a traditional Jamaican meal, you know, cooked at home.
Yes, and picked from the tree in my yard.
You have an ackee tree?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
So I'll show it to you after.
Yes,
Yes.
we have to. We have to see it. We have to see it.
So.
Okay, so what are we doing?
All right. Well, welcome. Let's go to the kitchen, and we will start. So then,
Okay. Hi, ladies.
so we're ready? All right. So there are a number of things that we are doing, and we've half prepped what we're doing. So get this out of the way.
Does it take a long time to prep?
What takes time is actually just preparing the akis. So the interesting thing is that the ackee, and one moment, let me show you how it actually looks. I saved one for you guys.
Oh.
So this is how it looks when it's on the tree. And what is very interesting about it is, you have to wait for it to open like this before you can eat it. When it's on the tree, if it's closed and you force it open, it's poisonous. So I think that's why many Ghanaians don't actually eat it, because they don't know.
So much of it here.
It just grows and it just falls on the street.
And I've learned that even the name Aki actually originates from an Akan phrase, Achi fufu, Achi.
Oh,
So,
really?
yes. So it's a corruption of that, and it's native to West Africa. We have lots of this in Ghana.
Yeah,
lots.
nobody uses it. And when I used to live in Canada, we used to pay like $10 for one can.
What?
Like one can that's this size, you're paying $10. And it's here and it's just growing wild and people are not using it.
Wow.
So in preparation, what we do is we peel off the skin, we take out the black part of the seed, and the only part we eat is the yellow part. That's it. So what we did was, the fish is already prepared with the onions and everything.
Okay.
But then we have the akis that now this is how it looks.
Oh.
This,
Okay, so that's just this white part.
yeah, so that's this white part. So we've kind of boiled it already just
So
to
how
make
many
it.
akis did you use for this?
The bag was this size last night, and we went through, pulled out everything, and it shrinks.
Wow.
So maybe if I was in Canada, I would pay about $30 for what's in here.
Wow.
Times 5 or 6. Now you know how much you're paying in CDs.
And we have this for free. Just
Just
growing in the
growing,
wild.
just growing.
Okay.
So let
Business
me just,
opportunity. You know.
let me get a spoon.
Ministry of Tourism, if you're watching, business opportunity. GIPC, business opportunity. You need to be exporting some of
You
this
should,
stuff.
because the ones that we actually eat in Canada are exported from Ivory Coast. So it grows there and they're making money from it, and it's here and we're not making any money.
It's amazing.
So literally it cooks very, very quickly.
Okay.
You just put it in.
So you have the salt fish in there.
Yes, so the
And
salted
what kind of
fish.
fish is it?
There's a Ghanaian name for it.
That's
So
very
today
interesting.
we will be eating akis with Jamaica's fried dumplings.
Okay.
And so you can't be Jamaican and not have fried dumplings. So this is some already prepared. And it kind of, it looks similar to the buff roads
It
that
does.
you have,
It
but
does.
it's not sweet.
Okay.
And it's more salty, and then we eat it with like ackee and saltfish, or sometimes when we do chicken, we'll make a nice stew.
Is the
and eat
ackee
it.
sweet? It looks
No,
like
it's
it's
not.
not.
Everything is salted.
Okay.
So there's nothing sweet about it.
Okay.
But in doing the preparation for the dumplings, these are the ingredients. Very, very simple. You've got your flour,
So this is normal flour that
just
we use
normal,
for
but
baking
we
cakes.
self-rising flour
Self-rising,
is better.
okay.
So you have your flour, you have your cornmeal,
Okay.
then you've got your baking powder and salt.
Okay.
I like to add a little bit of sugar as well, but some people do, some people don't. And then you add water.
So just a quick question. So the cornmeal is what kind of cornmeal is this? Is this something that I can easily find around?
Yes, in most stores, like we buy ours in Palace.
Okay.
So you can find it there, or a lot of the Ghanaian stores. Similar to what they call semolina.
Oh, okay.
So
Right.
it
So I was
is-
wondering about the color. So I
Yeah.
was wondering if it's semolina or ikwegbemi, but it looks more semolina.
More is closer to semolina.
So could we use
that.
semolina in case
You could.
wanted to substitute?
I always just look for the word cornmeal. But you
Cornmeal.
could use semolina.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure.
Okay.
So if you want, you know what you could do? Is you could mix these things together.
Okay.
Just so you see how it comes
Okay.
together.
Okay.
And then we'll eat
Okay.
the one
So
that's already
so where do
done.
we start? We
So
mixing
you can put
here?
everything in the bowl.
Okay. Just toss everything in.
Yes, you may.
Okay. So I got my flour and then cornmeal. It's in there.
Your
And
baking
then
powder.
baking powder. Baking powder, not baking soda.
Right, baking powder, so
Okay.
that you get it to rise, and salt.
And salt.
So mix that around first.
Okay.
Part of the reason we use the cornmeal is that it shows when everything is mixed in, because if you can no longer see the cornmeal in clumps, then it tells you everything else is fully mixed in.
That's interesting. Okay.
Then you add the water, but don't add all of it. So add like half of
Okay.
it first.
Fine. And then just mix it in.
Yes. Okay, and we can add a little more in it. The key is that it shouldn't be too soft.
Okay.
Yeah. You can add a little more vigor to it.
Okay. I was wondering whether this is a Banku kind of mix.
No, no, not Banku, but it's somewhere in between.
Okay,
So
some more
yeah, you
water.
can just add the rest. And so you keep, essentially you mix everything until it's soft and kind of squishy.
Okay.
But if it gets too squishy, then we just add more flour to get it a bit firm. Then we roll it, put it in the frying pan,
Okay.
and that's it.
So are we getting there?
Yeah, you're almost there.
It's amazing how just a little bit of water did the trick.
So this one would be, yeah, actually this is perfect. So then you would put it in the oil and you just see it, it takes a few minutes to fry. That's it. So now we can eat.
Yay. Oh, it's ready.
It's done.
Yay. Okay, so while we're prepping, you're what I like to call, what I even call myself, a mongrel. You know, and I say with all the love. You know, mongrel lives matter. So mongrels are beautiful dogs too. But you grew up in Jamaica. You were born there, grew up there. I mean, I've met your mom. She's gorgeous.
Thank you.
You know, as you are. How did you end up in Ghana? Like, what? How? And there's Canada in there somewhere.
Yes.
So let's start from the very beginning.
The Ghana thing was when I met my husband. This was, what year did we meet? 1996.
Okay.
1996 we met. And we met at a Ghanaian church in Canada.
Interesting.
And his thing was, anybody he married, they should know they would come to Ghana one day. That was one thing that he was very, very clear about. He wanted to come back to Ghana, and so that was a given. So at the time, I was like, okay, sure, no problem. I thought it wouldn't happen. And I was hoping it wouldn't happen. But about 15 years in, then the company that he worked for wanted to set up an office here.
Okay.
And so they asked him if he could come. He's an engineer, civil engineer. And he came, and he was going back and forth for about a year and a half. Then finally, we all came. So we've been here now 8 years.
Amazing.
But I love it. Like Ghana
I
is
mean,
cool.
unless you speak or you tell your story, we can't even tell you're not Ghanaian. I think your roots are from Ghana.
I think so.
You know? I don't see Nigerian in there. I see Ghanaian.
No,
I see
think
Ghanaian.
Ghana is where I am.
Yeah.
So and it's really, really good. So we came, my mom came, whom you met, like she came to support me. That was all. She had
was
never
she living
been here.
in Canada as well?
Yes.
Or she was in Jamaica?
She was in Canada.
with you.
So
okay.
almost all of our family moved to Canada. And so her sisters are there, my brothers are there, and she left everybody behind and came with me.
That's so sweet.
So
and I'm sure she loves it as well.
And she loves it. Now she says you can't pay her to go back. Like she is here, she is settled, she's good. So I'm very, very happy for her, because if she's settled and the kids are settled,
then you're happy.
We're good.
We're happy.
And I can enjoy life.
We're happy. So let's backtrack. Let's go back to Jamaica. You were born there. I mean, of course, you may not remember the day you were born, but I'm sure you know where you were born. You definitely know which part of Jamaica you come from. Both your parents are Jamaican?
Yes.
So, I mean, let's start from there. What was it like growing up? Which part of Jamaica are you from?
Okay.
You know,
So I am from a place called Mandeville,
Mandeville.
which is like the Ebri of Jamaica. So it's up in the hills, so it's very cool, very green. Very wet sometimes, like it rains more. I'm waiting on this to heat up. But yeah, so we're from Mandeville. So the difference between a Jamaican and a Ghanaian, when you ask that question is, when you ask me where I'm from, I'll tell you where I'm from is where I was born.
Okay.
It's not about where my parents, which part of
They
Jamaica they
originated
came from. So I am from Mandeville.
Okay.
My mom was born in another parish, so similar to regions in Ghana.
They're called parishes?
Yes, they're called parishes in Jamaica. So I was born in, the parish is actually called Manchester. And then Mandeville is like the major town in that parish. So yeah, so that's where I came from. That's where I went to school all my life. I went to my school, it was called Bel Air High School. So it was actually an American school in Jamaica.
Yeah.
And
Bel Air as in the Fresh Prince of Bel Air.
yeah. So yes, actually, because how that one came is one of Jamaica's one of our major industries is bauxite, which is like it's the really red dirt. That's it. So there were a lot of the company Alpart. They used to bring in a lot of foreigners to come and do some of the work, and so they set up a school for those children. Then they opened it up to Jamaicans as well. So that's where I went. So I am like half Jamaican. From a schooling standpoint, very, very American.
Yes.
And that's it.
How did you end up in an American school?
So when I graduated high school, then most people went to the US. And at the time, my dad was living in Florida, in Miami. So I left Jamaica and went to live. I started college in Miami. And so I lived there for 2 years and then moved to Canada, where I finished up university and lived there for 19 years. Where I met my husband, had my kids.
Started your career.
Started my career.
Okay, so now let's come back again. Let's backtrack. So we've gone through school briefly, but let's talk about what it was like growing up in Jamaica. And so you grew up in Mandeville as well? Okay, so what was it like? What are some of your fondest memories? What are some of the challenges, if you had any at all, and if you remember them?
Okay, growing up in Jamaica was interesting in Mandeville because my mom owned it was a nightclub / amusement park.
What?
So and a go-kart racetrack. So it was fun because from like we were early teens, we always had somewhere to go, and it was the only one in the town. So on the ground floor, you have a huge go-kart track at the back, and then you have an arcade with video games, everything. So that was for the kids. Upstairs, you had the club for the adults, though we went upstairs sometimes. So we had a lot of fun. Like growing up, we had a lot of fun. And then my dad had actually owned and built like the first major amusement park, like massive amusement park in Kingston, which is the main city.
We hear about Kingston a lot, you know, and all the songs.
Between what he was doing and what my mom was doing, like there was always room to have fun. So it was fun growing up. There weren't a lot of challenges because we were fairly okay, like financially it was okay. So we managed, like we were able to have fun. And staying in the same school your whole life, you kind of build lifelong friends that you grow up with. So many of us are still really good friends today. And I had some, yes, I can't tell you everything I did in Jamaica.
Not on camera.
No. We did have that. But yeah, no, it was fun. So I don't get to go back often enough. Just to enjoy as a vacation spot, but it's really, really good. It's a lovely, lovely country, and we're a tourist country, so we know how to treat people very, very well and make them have fun.
Is it part of your culture? I mean, in Jamaica, and again, growing up, were you sort of socialized that way, that people are coming in a lot to see your country and to see your people, so you know, you have to be hospitable, you have to know how to receive people.
Yes. But again, some of the nuances of like the Jamaican culture versus the Ghanaian culture is that you don't. So when when I met my husband and we got married, people would come to the house. They would show up at any time.
Yeah. Sounds
And
like
when they showed up, they would expect like a meal. Like people would come and they're expecting dinner.
Where's the
or
banku?
Yes.
Where's the food?
Now, if you go to a Jamaican's household, most times you'll get a drink. You may get like some peanuts or something.
What kinds of drinks are you typically?
Oh, well, it depends. You may get juice or something like that. Or if you're a drinker, you'll get whiskey, vodka, something. But the whole, most times you tell people in advance you are coming. You call them and you'll say, hi, I'm coming over, is it okay? You don't typically just show up and say, hi.
I'm
They
here.
hear, yes, I'm here. What's on the table? So we don't do that. So it took quite a bit of adjusting as well when we got married, because I had to get used to just being a lot freer with the space and inviting people in and not just expecting that people can show up at any time. So that was
that would be
interesting.
difficult. That would be difficult.
Took some getting used to.
That would be difficult. But were you and your parents, were they entertaining a lot? Or your
My
grandma?
dad did.
Yeah.
My dad entertained a lot. He did. He really did.
Yes, he did.
Yeah, he did. And then after a while, my parents got divorced. So he went to one part. He moved to Kingston.
Okay.
And then we stayed in Mandeville. And at that time, we still entertained a lot. But because, again, my mom had the club and the business, we spent more time there than at home.
Okay.
So a lot of it was out of home and just living very nice. I don't carefree.
Right. Yeah.
But it was.
Or you're going with emotions.
Yeah, like
as
we're
life
just
comes.
going.
Yeah.
So
Supporting
it wasn't
mom
bad.
and you know.
It wasn't bad. But at the same time, in all of that, I grew up working, learning to work from very early in the family business. Because my dad also had another business in Mandeville where he had like it was a bathroom fixture store, which was right across from the club.
Okay.
So
It's
on
like
the other
hardware for the bathrooms,
yes,
the toilet,
and house, the whole
okay.
thing. So I would work there in the days, and so that's where I really learned to work at an early.
And how to market, I'm sure.
Working and just not taking things for granted.
Okay.
So that I know for me, a lot of the work discipline that I have today, I got from when I was a teenager there, just working for him and all of that. So I think there are a lot of things, a lot of good things that I learned as a child growing up in Jamaica. No
That's
regrets.
brilliant. That's brilliant. So let's go for a break, and when we return, we'll see how our ackee and salted fish and our plantains are doing as well. My name is Apioko, and my guest today is Gillian Hammah. She's the Group Chief Marketing Officer of the Databank Group, and she's telling me all about growing up in Jamaica, and we'll talk some more about how she ended up in Canada and come back to hook it all to Ghana. We'll be right back. Welcome back. You're still watching Diplomatic License right here on City TV. My name is Apioko, and today my guest is Gillian Hammah. She is the Group Chief Marketing Officer of the Databank Group. And look, I said she's a mongrel, like me, you know, and we've been speaking about how she grew up in Jamaica. Eventually, we'll start talking a little bit about how her family ended up in Canada and how she packed bag and baggage and came to Ghana for love. But I mean, Gillian, it's been a wonderful conversation. We've been cooking ackee,
Yes.
ackee and fried dumplings, and then we have some
Fried plantain,
on the side. And I still find it so fascinating that the way you do your plantains, you slice them very
Yes.
thinly. They're just golden, you know, just ripe, not too sweet.
Yep.
It's all very interesting, you know. But the ackees.
So you have to taste.
And the whole production team is just standing here like, oh wow, because wherever you go in Ghana, you see akis on the road.
It pains my heart. Actually.
Yeah, like they're everywhere. Children are using them to play football and chaskele and all sorts of things. Smashing them on the ground. It's really interesting. But like I said earlier, and for those of you who just joined us, even the name Aki is a corruption of an Akan phrase, Achi fufu, and it's just the way our culture is 360, and you look at people of color all over the world and how we're all interconnected. We've carried a little piece of everywhere. Us wherever we go. Yeah. It's so beautiful. Even the dumplings, the formulation is very similar to
the buffroots.
Yes, buffroots, kaklu, all that. Very, very, very interesting. Okay, so do we eat? What are we drinking?
Oh, this is just some grape juice. Okay. But the more important than the juice is the jar, because this jar it's at least 35 years old. This is a jar that came with us from Jamaica that my dad used to entertain his guests when I was a small child. And now here I have it, entertaining Apioko, the one and only.
Thank you for bringing it out. The one and only. Oh, she got it.
Yeah, there's some real authentic Jamaican here.
Thank you for bringing
stuff from Jamaica and food from Jamaica.
Thank you. I think you mentioned earlier that sobolo is actually, so aki and salted fish is a national dish of Jamaica, but sobolo, bisap, our own sobolo, is a national drink.
So we call it, in Jamaica, we call it sorrel.
Sorrel, okay, makes sense.
But we only drink it at Christmas time because for some reason, which now I no longer know, because I always used to think it was only available and it was only something that grew at Christmas time, because that's when we've always had it. But then I came to Ghana and it's a year-round drink. Like everybody is drinking it any day, anytime. So what it tells me is that we were missing out in Jamaica. But when we drink it in Jamaica, we don't put as much ginger in there. We put some, but not as much. And then we add a little bit of rum as well to it. So you need to be strong if you want to drink some of those things. And it's funny that you will have, I remember my grandmother, she doesn't drink. They don't drink alcohol, but they will drink sorrel with rum in it. And somehow they've separated it in their minds.
It's not alcohol.
Yes, it's not alcohol. So we have Jamaica, we're famous for a sorrel. We're famous for a rum cake or Jamaican rum cake at Christmas. Loaded with rum that will make you drunk. But people have it and they don't drink. So they'll tell you, me, no, I don't drink.
I don't drink.
But
they eat rum cake and they drink the sorrel with rum.
So that was my grandparents.
What about the cocoa bread and the patties?
Oh gosh. So that is my mission in Ghana. I have to learn to make it here. Because there's no way I can be here and we can't make patties. And it's so similar to the meat pies, but it's thinner. The crust is thinner.
Very buttery.
Yeah. So I found out, I think I've discovered the missing ingredient.
Okay.
And so before the end of this year, I will corner the patty making thing and I will make patties.
You know what? I have another show called What's Cooking and I'll make patties.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
And then we must find a way to make it a business.
I'm telling you, because it is not here.
It's not. I mean, for those of you who don't know what we're talking about, and I'm sure you can see the pictures on the screen and whatnot, but you have this cocoa bread, so it's coconut bread, right?
No, actually, there's no coconut in there.
In it. No. But it has this interesting taste.
It's very buttery. It's just, it's like slight. If you buy it in Jamaica, it is just, I can't even describe how buttery and soft. Like when it's fresh, it's soft, and you put the patty inside, and then you just eat it.
So it's like having Ghanaian maybe buns bread or sugar bread. You know, one of those very soft, fresh breads, and then you put.
It's almost like the tea bread kind of thing.
There you go.
But with more butter.
More butter. Yes. And then you just put like a meat pie, very soft.
But
meat pie, you eat it like a sandwich.
We shall do the what's cooking. We'll crack the patty.
That sounds really good.
But yeah, so I can't wait for you to try.
Yes, I can't wait. I do have, apart from the fact that we see akis everywhere in Ghana, I do have friends from Trini. I have friends from other parts of the islands, and a lot of them eat ackee, but I've never tasted it.
Okay.
You know,
Well,
now these are people.
I'll give you a small taste first.
Okay, no, please.
Oh, okay.
No, I'm a hard
You're
girl.
all in.
I can take it.
Okay.
Thank you.
And then
Okay,
let
so
me
this
get
is
you
this.
a fried dumpling
Okay.
as well. You want
then-
one or two?
Well, two is
Okay.
great. And then some plantain.
Yes.
Okay.
And I can't reach that
So
one.
I can just do.
I think
Okay.
doorbell.
So
We may have another guest.
who knows? Somebody heard that we were cooking and decided to just. Okay, so just this, right?
So that's your fried
A
plantain.
couple of slices. Okay. And then are you going to serve yourself too?
Yes, please. So yes. So
Okay.
my kids just love ackee.
I can imagine.
They love it, love it, love
I
it.
can imagine.
And I'll just take one here.
Okay.
Now we're done.
Should we pour the juice first?
Yes,
or
please.
Okay. In our authentically Jamaican jar.
Yes.
Oh, wow.
Thank you.
And this is heavy.
It's crystal, real.
What? This is heavy. Okay. All right, there we go. Okay, so we start now?
Yes, we can. Nice.
Okay. Here we go. Time to eat some ackee. Ackee and salted fish. Okay, so on its own or with the dumpling or a bit
Ideally
of-
with the dumplings.
Okay.
So
Okay, so
the
I will
dumplings
just-
though, you eat with your hand. You can't
Oh,
eat
okay.
it with
okay,
your.
Okay, I see.
Then so
So do we
just
like
hold it, bite,
Okay.
and then you
And then
use
you-
a fork
okay,
for the ackee,
okay.
and you're good to
So
go.
so let me throw the knife somewhere.
Yes.
Okay, so.
Um,
Interesting. So, the salted fish. Do you salt it yourselves back home, or it's sold in shops and markets?
it's sold in shops. You buy it, and it's so much easier there because you can get it packaged, and you get to eat. You just simply take it, boil it, like
Okay.
boil away a lot of the salt,
salt.
and then you cook it with this.
Yeah, of course. Here, if you're buying the fish, you now have to take it, prep it, wash it, clean it out. Now, salted fish needs a lot more.
So for
prep.
us, when you buy it, you can get it with the bones in, or they'll take out the bones for you ahead of time. So then you come, you cook. It's very, very easy. So it really, that fish, the taste is still slightly different from the salted fish here.
Okay.
It's more, I don't know, it has a richer taste.
Okay.
Like it's
Like
saltier.
a rounder.
Yeah. But this, we've looked, it took us several tries to find the right kind of fish here. Because in Jamaica, we have codfish. That's the salted
so
fish,
that's
but
a
they don't
salted
have
fish.
it here.
Yeah, it's hard to find codfish here. Very hard to find it. And it's expensive, even if you. And I don't believe that we salt it. Yeah, no, we hardly salt cod. Okay, but a reefer works. Interesting. Very, very interesting. Okay. So now let's continue our conversation. So, growing up in Jamaica, I mean, at some point you're working at your dad's business, hardware, home business,
Yes.
you know, with toilet facilities that people can come and buy, fixtures like they could buy. You're working there, you're helping mom as well, run the nightclub slash theme park,
Yes.
you know, theme park is it, with a go-kart. I mean, very fascinating. But how did your family end up in Canada?
Well, we ended up in Canada because it was actually one of my mom's sisters, her older sister, had moved to Canada with her family several years before us, and she kept telling her to come. My mom was settled in Jamaica. She didn't want to go. Then she decided to send my youngest brother to go to school in Canada. And so we sent him to live with my aunt, go to school. Then she went to visit and loved it so much that she decided she would stay. At the time, I was living in Miami. I was going to college. And it's just so happened that my mom, in getting her permanent residency in Canada, had to go back to Jamaica to get it done. And in going back there, somehow it took a long time. So I had to leave Miami and move to Canada to take care of my brothers while I was there. And at the time, I think I was 18, 19, 18.
So you moved to Canada out of necessity because you have to go.
It wasn't by choice.
Yeah,
I had no desire to live in Canada. So we went there. I started taking care of them, and it was just us. So now you had this house similar to this size and 4 teenagers living in the house. And
how old were your brothers?
So
siblings?
I have 2 younger brothers. So it was, at the time, if I was 19, one was 17, and then the other would have been about 13. And then I had my cousin who was a year older than me, so she was like 20. So it was the 4 of us living in the house. And, you know, I had one of my awakening moments while we were there, because if you put 4 teenagers in a house, at some point they will misbehave.
Absolutely.
They won't behave. And so we started to get a little bit wild. And I remember
were you like hopping club hopping?
Yeah, we did the club hopping.
Skipping school?
No, we didn't skip school. We were very good with that one. We didn't skip school, but we were doing the club hopping. And I remember one night we had a party at our house, and somehow somebody told my dad. And my dad was living in Florida. No, he was living in Florida
at the time.
And he secretly got on a plane and came to the house. So the next day, after the party, the house was a mess, and we were just like, we had partied the whole night. The doorbell rings, and there he is standing at the door.
What?
And that thing changed my life
all the way from the U.S. to Canada.
Yes, when you get into certain kinds of trouble, is not cool. So that really woke me up to say, no, I need to lead a better, normal, well-behaved life. So that put me on a completely different path to who I am today.
Were your parents disciplinarians?
They were, but my dad was more of a lecturer. Like, he's the kind of person, he wouldn't spank you, but he'll talk and he'll talk and talk and talk. And you wish that he would just spank you and set you free, but he would just be talking and lecturing. And my mom, she was more the disciplinarian, I think, but in a very different way. So in ways they balance.
Did you get any
other.
spankings?
Oh, I did.
Of course, yeah.
You can't be Jamaican and you didn't get spanking. You have to, like, it's a part of growing up. And you also, you have the spanking, and you'll have, okay, if there's anybody who is American watching this, just cover your
ears.
But you know, like, you get the spanking, you have the slippers. I remember my mom used to have this pair of slippers, and it was very soft. She didn't realize how soft it was.
Sort of like Charlotte.
Yes, but an old one. So when she would spank you, you didn't really feel it, but then you would be making lots of noise, and you'd be saying, ow, ouch. And so she thinks that she's really giving it to you. And so one day she heard us laughing after she had spanked us, and then we realized that. Then she realized, no, that wasn't working, so she changed. But you can't be Jamaican and not have gotten some spanking. So, but fortunately, I think I haven't given as much. Like my kids, they haven't really gotten any spanking.
They have it easy.
Yes, they do. They do. Like they haven't gotten it. Now that I think about it, they didn't get.
Have I put your kids in trouble? I think.
No, the thing is, they're too old now. I can't even spank them.
How old
anymore.
are they now?
Oh, my eldest is 18. She'll be 19 in October.
Amazing how she's the same age you were when you had to move off to Canada.
And then I have a 17-year-old son, and then the youngest is 12. My daughter, second daughter is 12.
No, so your second is a boy?
Yes, so girl, boy, girl.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh no, you have a young man and young women at home. They're not kids anymore.
Actually, yes, and she reminds me, the eldest one. Closer to her 18th birthday was like, yep, mom, so now I'm an adult, everything, so please. But they don't have any money. You know, it's like these kids, they want to be treated as adults, but they're flat broke, and they keep coming to you for money. I keep telling them, go and find a job. Go
If you want to do what you want, go and do something.
That's it. You tell them to work, and they say yes, they'll work one day, and then
And
they'll
that's
stop.
it.
They'll stop.
So I mean, it's your story is very, very fascinating, extremely fascinating. But let's talk about your years in Canada. So now you went there out of necessity, played a wild card at certain points. Dad came in all the way from the US to Canada to come and set you guys straight. But then you stayed in Canada, and you stayed there until you started a lucrative career, or a career that at least could take care of you. And then until you met your husband, fell in love, and
Yes.
so let's talk a little bit about that.
Okay, so I got to Canada. A lot happened in a very short time because, as I told you, I got to Canada, I think, when I was 19. That incident with my dad, I think, happened about a year after I was there. And that's when I realized I really needed to just change my way in life and get serious and start focusing on other things. So
Are you like a party girl?
Yeah. So at that point, I decided, I was in university, I was completing the last 2 years. And after I had finished university, so I finished at 21. It was, what year was that? 1996. For those who are watching and don't know where they were in 1996.
You're 21 in 1996.
Yes.
Let's try to do the math. So you were born in, what, 74?
Yes.
Brilliant. Oh, you don't look it.
Oh,
She doesn't
I am
look
totally
it.
46.
You don't
and
look
I'm proud.
it. You
know,
don't look
I
it.
am so proud of my age because I love it. Like, I love being this age.
Because you don't look it.
Because it's awesome. it's so awesome to be, because now you're at this age where kids are grown, they can take care of themselves, career is kind of settled, and so you can just enjoy life. Like, you don't have to be this hard hustling and all of that. I highly recommend 46 to anybody. Just get there. Like, guys, get there. But when I got to Canada and I graduated in 96, I took the first job I could out of university, which happened to be a job in the investment industry. That's how I even got into the industry. It was like I needed a job and I wanted to do marketing, but that's not what I got.
Okay.
The first job I could get was in the investments and selling insurance. So I was selling
Wasn't that hard?
mutual funds. I hated it. I hated it. Mutual funds and insurance. And I did that for, I think, a year and a half. I did it well, but I made no money. And my husband still teases me about that to this day, that I didn't make any money. But so in 96, after the incident with my dad, I decided that part of turning over a new leaf was I was going to start going to church. So I started going to church and put all my partying ways behind me. And that's where I actually met my husband.
In church?
In church. And so...
Single ladies.
Yes.
There's hope in church.
Yes, there is. There are good men in church. There are some bad ones too, but there are good men in church. And so we met and the reason I'm giving you all of these dates is because everything happened in a very short period of time. So I met him. So 95, my dad gave it to me. 96, I went to church, met my husband, and how I met him was, there was a pastor in the church who said to me, Gillian, no, in fact, before that, there was a guy in our church who said to me that he would like to marry me. We were talking, and he said he would like to get married. And he told me that, oh, I should go and ask or tell this pastor friend of ours that he wants to marry me. And for sure the pastor would say yes. The pastor said, absolutely not.
What?
Don't go near this guy.
Why?
I don't know why, but he said, there's somebody else I would like you to meet. So he told me to read the book of Ruth, and then I would know what to do. That's what he said. I should go and read the book of Ruth. So I read the book of Ruth. And in the story, actually, it just so happens that Ruth, in the end, made the first move. So I thought long and hard. So he
Single
told me,
ladies, yo.
it's not bad to make the first move. So so I knew that he had told me that Reginald was the person he wanted me to meet. So I tried to think of how am I going to now do this. So I called Reginald and I said to him, do you know anybody that likes to play tennis? So the same tennis that we played this morning is the tennis that got me my husband. And I asked him, do you know anybody that would like to play tennis? And he said, well, he doesn't know. He will think about it and let me know. So a few days later, he called and he says, oh, he will do it. So then we made, so we went on our first date. Our first date was actually tennis.
Wow.
And it was in, I think it was like a September 17th, 1996.
You remember the date? What?
Yes, I remember the date. Because then we got engaged November, I think it was 24th, 1996.
Y'all don't waste time.
So within like 3 months, we had gotten engaged. And we got married the following July. So in less than a year,
Mr. Gillian Hammah, yeah, you're the real MVP.
So yeah, so it was really, really short. And so after we went out that first day, and I was like, is this the guy? Because it wasn't any, at the time he was a student. He was older than me, but he was doing his PhD at the time. So he didn't have any money. I had more money than him, and I didn't have a lot of money. But he had ambition, and he just had he was such a sweet, sweet person. And so I was thinking, is this the person for me? And then another pastor in church came to me and said, Gillian, there's somebody that I just need you to meet. This is a person for you. So I said, okay, no problem. And he brought me to meet the person, and it was Reginald, same husband again. So it was kind of a confirmation for me that this is a person. So we got married. But you know, the thing is, and I guess maybe the message to a lot of young ladies is, the guy doesn't always have to have money before you can get married. It's not necessary. And because women, they have this long list that he has to have money, he has to have a car, he has to have a house, all of these things. Reginald had none. I remember when we got married, our apartment was maybe, it wasn't even as big as from here to there.
Wow.
So when we would have friends come over, our dining table was right by the window. We would have to push the living room couch. And then some people would sit on this side of the table, and then some people would sit on the window ledge.
What?
Like the apartment was so small. But that's how we started. And it got to a point that we were struggling. And I remember the landlord came and told us one time that we didn't pay, and they were going to kick us out if we didn't pay. So the point is, you go through things. But today, we're okay. And now he far out earns me. Like, I can't touch what he earns, even though I'm doing well. So the whole point is, where people start is not always where they end up. And so all of those young girls who have their long list,
Cut it short.
cut it. Like,
Cut it
look
short.
for a guy who has ambition. Look for a guy who is going somewhere. Those are the things you look for, because then you work with them and you grow with them and all of that. So that's how I got to Canada, and that's how I met my husband. And it was interesting with him being Ghanaian, because I remember when we got engaged, again, this is another Jamaican Ghanaian difference. when we got engaged, he wanted to do the traditional Ghanaian engagement. Not with all the suitcases and stuff. I think he got me a Bible and something. But my dad offered to buy my dress and bring it, which he brought the same day of the engagement. And it was this beautiful, long, I still have it upstairs, but long black dress.
I need to see that dress.
Now, I didn't know that in Ghana, black is funeral.
Hey.
Because in Jamaica, black is elegant. Hey, so I was told, but Gillian, oh, but she doesn't understand. She's Jamaican. That's why she doesn't understand. So it was interesting. I still wore it. Still loved it. But there were some of these are some of the things that you learn as you go, that it's just, there's some differences. But, you know, it's there. So I got married because I decided to settle down, go to church. I got into the investment industry, which I am still in today, because it was the first job I could get. But I have stuck with it and I've fallen in love with it, and here I am.
It's beautiful.
20-something years later.
I mean, Gillian, we have to come back and, you know, see what the journey in Ghana has been like. But for now, let's, you know, go on a break. We still have to see the Aki tree. You know, there are a lot of things. I'll maybe play some table tennis. I don't know if we still have time. Maybe we'll have to come back another day for that, but we'll see. But Aki tree, very important.
Yes.
And the black dress. The black dress. We'll find it. We'll find it. So, ladies and gentlemen, I'm speaking to Gillian Hammah. She is the Group Chief Marketing Officer of Databank Group, and we've been talking about you know, how Jamaican she is, and you can see it in everything she does, even the way she speaks. It's still there. Now, can you patois? Do you speak patois?
I do. Most times it's with my kids when I'm telling them to do something.
You have to teach me
not
some
listening.
of that. You know, she's talking about how she grew up in Jamaica, how she ended up in Canada, how her dad came and basically gave her a telling off, she and her siblings, all the way from the US to Canada when she was still a wild girl, and how she met her husband in church. She's also given some great advice for the single ladies and single men as well out there. You're still watching Diplomatic License on City TV. We need to finish our ackee and our fried dumplings and our plantain. We'll be right back. Welcome back. You're still watching Diplomatic License right here on City TV. My name is Apioko, and I'm just wrapping up my time today that I've been spending with Gillian Hammah. And in case you just joined us, you're very late, but she is, if you must know, the Group Chief Marketing Officer of the Databank Group, and I've had a wonderful time with her. We've spoken about how she grew up in Jamaica. We've learned how to make ackee and salted fish, which is the national dish of Jamaica. We've learned that sobolo, or bisap, or as they call in Jamaica, sorrel, is actually the national drink of, almost the national drink of Jamaica. And it's only drunk at Christmas time with rum. I mean, so many things and so many connections with our culture, how plantain is prepared, how they cut it. It's beautiful. But you know, we've been speaking about ackee and the ackee tree, and this is the ackee tree. So Gillian has actually done the unthinkable and put the tree in her house so that she doesn't have to buy it when she wants to eat ackee.
Yes.
She just has to come pluck it, and there's one at the very top, you know, somewhere up there. I'm sure you can see it. But Gillian, thank you so much for inviting me into your home and for tennis this morning. I mean, I still, not so great, but I'll take you up on your offer and do some playing. I mean, the ambassador of Switzerland to Ghana as well, His Excellency Philip Stalder, has also invited me to play tennis, and I just haven't gone. So between the two of you, I need to get active and start playing.
Yes.
You know, maybe it's a sign. Two people have called me to play tennis.
And you know, I mean, it's a great way to find a husband, all of those things, in case anybody's listening.
Of course,
for a husband.
So now I understand why tennis is so important to you.
Which I did not remember until today.
Yeah,
honestly,
I see it now. That's why it's your place of peace, you know. Your husband is your place of peace, your place of love and joy. So tennis must be that, because that was your first
That's
date.
how we came together.
Beautiful.
Yes.
It's beautiful. Thank you so much.
But it was wonderful to have
Thank you. And I will be back again because I saw your table tennis board. They haven't touched
it. Waiting for you.
Yes, I will be back, I promise. And then maybe we can do some other things. I know you like restaurant hopping as well. You're a foodie.
I do.
Yes, so maybe do some Jamaican restaurant or something.
Okay.
Next time.
I am in. Totally.
Thank you.
But it was
so
wonderful
much.
to have you. Thank you for coming.
Very
Thank
grateful.
you.
So, ladies and gentlemen, that's it for today. Next week, Gillian will be back, I promise. We'll be playing some table tennis, and then she's a foodie, like I said, so maybe we'll go around a restaurant or two or do something with food. Who knows? Okay, we'll figure it out. But my name is Apioko. Thank you for watching. This has been Diplomatic License on City TV. Don't forget, use the hashtag Diplomatic License, see whatever is happening on social media, catch the behind the scenes. Just go there and, you know, find something out. And if there's a guest who you want to see on the show, let us know. And we'll make sure that we bring her or him to you.